So let me ask you a question. What bugs you? What is it that you want to change about yourself to make your life better? Now, most of us would like to know how we can improve our lives. And I've been in this talking about 1% habits. And I have realized that I haven't really defined what a 1% habit is. But to start off with, I'm going to tell you a story about how I discovered 1% habits. Now, many years ago, I talked about saying hello to people, but I didn't really recognize that as being a 1% habit. The one I really focused on and really understood that a 1% habit is, what the 1% habit is when I decided I was going to organize my evening routine. Now, I've talked about this before, but my evening routine was nice, right? I'd get home, I'd do what I wanted to do, I'd watch some TV, I'd do some study on something, I'd write something, and I'd go to bed. And then in the morning, which I'd wake up about 4:30 in the morning, you shouldn't have to, don't set your alarm clock on me, I just wake up at 4:30. So I'd be up at 4:30, and I'd be rushing around doing a whole bunch of things, and I'm thinking, I'm up at 4:30, I should be able to be more productive than this. And I realized that it wasn't my morning routine that needed fixing, it was my evening routine that was needed fixing. And because I was doing a whole bunch of things in the morning that I could have done in the evening and not being productive in the morning. So I figured, okay, it's time to organize my evening routine. And I started off with putting my tea mug on the counter with tea leaves in it. That was the simplest thing I could do. And as the weeks went by, I kept adding one more thing, one tiny little thing to that evening routine until in the mornings, now I had my tea ready, I had the kettle full, my lunch was made, my wife's lunch was made, I had breakfast laid out, so all I had to do was turn it on or take it out of the fridge or whatever it was for breakfast that day. And that was it, right? Because all I had to do was, when I went to work, was take the lunch out of the fridge, put it in my bag, and go to work. So that's how I changed slowly to become much more organized in the morning. And then I could be more productive in the morning. I could read, I could write, I could do some little exercise. I had like 2.5 hours of time that I could actually spend improving myself, which was great. So we talk about 1% habits. What is a 1% habit? And this is where the definition comes in. A 1% habit is basically something that's going to angle you up just a little bit. 1%. If it'll make a 1% difference in your day, then that's what you want to focus on. So, a 1% habit has 6 components. The first one is that it takes less than a minute to do. It has to be less than a minute. If it takes more than a minute, it's not small enough. Make it smaller than a minute. Okay. Second thing is it has to have an obvious cue. A cue that you can recognize quickly. There, do this thing because that's the cue. The third is it has to have a recognizable and intrinsic reward, which means that without doing the action, you're not going to get the reward. Don't pick a habit and then pick a reward. Pick a habit that has a reward, because if you pick a habit that needs a reward, you need to add to it, then you're then making 2 habits. One, the habit you want, and 2, the reward habit of rewarding yourself for doing the habit. And because our brains are smart, it's not going to say, oh, wow, now that we've done this habit, we can get this thing. It's going to say, forget that part. Let's just do the reward part. You have to have discipline then. You don't want to have to use more of your discipline than you have to. Third thing is it needs to be easily extended. You have to be able to add to it quickly and easily. Number 5, be part of a larger goal, something that's bigger than the little tiny habit. Like putting my mug on the counter with tea in it was not the goal. The goal was to be organized in the morning. It was just part of it, right? And the last one is it needs to be mastered easily, something that can be easily done. And if you can't master it easily, then it's too big. You have to make it smaller. All right, so I'll give you an example. We're going to talk about washing your mug after you finish drinking your coffee or your tea. Pretty simple, right? Now let's look at it from a 1% habit situation, right? Is it going to move you up just a 1%, just a little tiny bit? Sure it will, because now if you wash your mug every time you're done, then you know where your mug is. It's either in the drain tray or in the cupboard, and wherever you put it, as a habit, wherever you put it, and it's going to be clean, so you don't have to rummage around looking for it. So that's a good benefit, right? You get less frustrated when you go to have your coffee or tea. You just grab your mug, pour the coffee in, or boil the water, put the tea in, and away you go. You're done. All right, so let's look at it from the 6 components. It takes less than 30 seconds. Right, how long does it take to wash a freshly used coffee or tea mug? Right, doesn't take long at all. Second thing, you are finished your drink. That's the cue. I'm done my drink. I'm going to the kitchen. Wash my mug. Done. Right, obvious cue. Third, there's an obvious reward to having washed your mug. It's now clean, and you know where it is. You get the reward of there. It's done, complete. And now when I go to use it again, I'll know where it is. Perfect. Now you don't have to. Oh, I've washed my mug. Oh, great, good for you. Pat myself on the back for washing my mug. No, that's ridiculous. And if you started doing that every single time you did a tiny little habit, you'd look like, first of all, you'd probably wear your shirt out in the back. And second of all, you look like an idiot, right? Just because you washed your mug, you don't need to congratulate yourself. You put the mug in the drain tray and you go, ha, good, perfect, that's done. Okay, number 4. Instead of just washing your mug, then you could add the spoon that you stirred the tea with, right? Or next time, maybe you're going to wash the plate that you had your snack on while you drank your coffee. And you extend it out, right? Every time you can add a little bit to it. Number 5, the large goal maybe is to have a clean kitchen all the time. Right? So if you wash all your dishes as soon as you're done with them, then you always have a clean kitchen. Make sense? So the habit of adding something each time is easy. You just add another thing. Now I'm finished my dinner. Okay, I'm going to wash my cutlery. Now I'm finished my dinner. I'm going to wash my cutlery and my plate. Right? You just kind of get into the habit of doing it, and then when you go to clean your kitchen, there's not much to do because everything is clean already. Number 6 is the skill. You already have the skill of washing your dishes. It's not that difficult, right? Everybody knows how to wash dishes, or at least high majority of people know how to wash the dishes. It's not a skill you need to master. So you can just go ahead and do it. Right? It's not difficult. All right, so now you understand what a small habit is. Start looking at your life and think, what is it that bugs me that I want to change? What bigger thing maybe? You're fat and out of shape. You want to get fit. Well, great. So what is it that you're going to change 1% at a time to make it so that you're not out of shape? Could be a walk to the end of the driveway and back. Takes a minute. Not that hard. And easily extendable, right? You can walk your driveway twice, or you can walk your driveway and down to your neighbor's and back. You can keep on going with that, right? You go for a walk. That's easily done. Easily extended. There's an obvious cue you can pick. Every day when I get home, I'm going to put on my walking shoes and I'm going to go for a walk. There's an obvious reward, right? After you've gone for a walk, you feel good, right? Being outside is great. Even if it's inclement weather, it's pouring down rain, you get out there and you go for a walk and you come back and go, wow, that was cool. I'm invigorated because of the challenge and enjoyment of going out and going for a walk. You can extend it, right? And the bigger goal is to be fit. That's what your bigger goal was, right? So you can continue on moving along that track until you get as fit as you need to be, and then you can stay at that level, right? But the goal is to be fit. And finally, you already know how to walk. You don't need to, well, high majority of us know how to walk, and if that's the goal, then you'll know how to walk, right? You'll be able to get to the into the driveway and back, and then you'll be able to walk further each time. Not that difficult. right? You don't need to master the skill of walking. That's the crazy thing about success. Most of the things that you need to do to succeed, you already know how to do. You just have to do consistently, and you need to be able to do it by habit. When the cue appears for you to do it, that's when you do it. It's easy. All right, so that small little habit, what is it that you want to change, and what can you change quickly and easily so that you can ramp yourself up just that little bit? Think about it, make a list, and decide, okay, what's the big goal? And then break it down into tiny little minuscule 1 minute or less habits that have an obvious cue, a reward, can be extended, and is part of that larger goal, and you can master it easily. Easy enough to do. Go ahead, start on it right now, and you'll be surprised in a year where you'll be.